Now, before I get into the substance of this video, I'm going to start with just a couple of statements. One, I'm not upset Trent is leaving. I'm upset the way he's leaving. I'm not upset that he's leaving. I'm upset that he orchestrated a move for his own financial gain and the gain of Real Madrid and for the financial disadvantage of Liverpool Football Club and its fans. Number two, I do not condone the booing that we saw at Anfield yesterday. I wouldn't have done it myself, but I wouldn't have applauded either. I'd have sung the Steven Gerrard song 100% because that, for me, told Trent an awful lot more about his decision than any booing did. But I just don't think you should ever boo a Liverpool player playing in a Liverpool shirt. Having said that, while I don't condone the booing, I'm going to have a go at explaining it from a Scouse perspective. From someone who was born and bred and brought up in the unique culture that is Liverpool. Before I get into that, I just want to quickly mention the disgusting UK media. And once again, the same group of them are at it. Two of them I don't expect any better from. First one, Simon Jordan, who today called Liverpool fans graceless and witless. Graceless and witless, eh, Simon? I got a few words for you, but I won't use them here. The other one, the clown prince of radio, Andy Goldstein, who said we're disgusting. And the third one, who should know better because he's from Scotland, Jim White, who called us trashy. So that's the way the UK media is attacking us, as they always have done and as they always will do. And I think they're disgusting. And I just want to go back to Clown Prince Andy Goldstein. We're disgusting, are we, for booing Trent? Yeah, I don't condone it. But then again, do you condone the booing that you hear at Old Trafford every single week at half-time and full-time? You okay with that? I've never once heard you say that that's disgusting. You're disgusting. The other one, jumping on the bandwagon of the UK media, is all the fans of the other clubs. So if you go onto any of the sites, any of the YouTube sites or whatever, read all the comments. Oh, they're all at it. Yeah, oh, Liverpool fans, you'll never walk alone and all that stuff. They're booing their own players. Well, you know what? Again, back to Man United and Everton fans in particular. My God, you've been booing your team on the field for the last 2 decades, almost weekly. And for the rest of you, Arsenal fans, etc., Sol Campbell, hello. Everybody has got players who come back to their club in a different shirt and they get booed. Liverpool fans have got a few of them, but it's very few because most of the people who return to Liverpool as a player for the opposition is applauded and greeted warmly because it's how they left the club, not because they left the club. So to all of you, people in glass houses, you know, all those sayings, have a look in the mirror first. Anyway, on to what this video is all about. I got a few messages yesterday after the booing incident from Liverpool fans who, oh, I'm from Liverpool, asking me, did I think, was this Scousers booing Trent or was it out-of-towners, international fans, the like, booing? With the thought that Liverpool fans, they didn't think Liverpool fans would do this. I'll read out what I replied to one of the messages I got. I said, no mate, they were Scousers. I mean, I'm sure there was other fans as well that weren't Scousers, but there was a lot of Scousers booing Trent yesterday. And this is how I explained it. I said, Scousers care passionately about 2 things, loyalty and a sense of fairness. Trent loses on both. Not only has he betrayed us in many people's eyes, not in everyone's, but in a lot of people's eyes, he's betrayed us. He's done it for personal greed and without any consideration for the morals, ethics and principles of the people of Liverpool. Now that might sound like a bit of a grandiose statement, but let me explain it. I followed on and said, in our city, you don't screw anyone over for money, and you specifically don't screw anyone over for money who's one of you. I can in no way condone what he has done, run the contract down, so he and his brother can rake in millions with a signing on fee while Liverpool Football Club gets nothing. I said, it's insulting, callous, and selfish. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on it purely from a Scouse perspective, from my personal perspective. Liverpool is a unique city with a unique culture. I've lived in 3 countries and I've been lucky enough to visit over 50 other countries in my life. And I can say categorically, there's nothing like the city of Liverpool. Its culture, its friendship, its neighbourly feel, nothing. There's nowhere like it. When it's said that Scousers will give you the shirt off their back, it's true. When it's said that Scousers will give you their last pound if you need it more than them, it's true. I've personally experienced that many times. Scousers are the most friendly, welcoming and accommodating people I've ever met. Ever. And millions of tourists who visit the city every year will back me up on that. They're fantastic people with an unbelievable culture of trust and fairness. Until you screw us over. Then it all changes. We will put an arm around you, we will be your best friend on day one, but do not screw us over, because once you do, everything changes and there's no way back. Do that and you'll see a whole different side of us. When I was a kid living in St John's Estate, Huyton, we were like everyone around us. We were from a regular working class family living in a council estate. Everyone there worked hard, played hard. In general, your mum and dad, or your mum or your dad got the paycheck, paid all the bills and could go out for a pint or two and everyone was happy. No one was well off, but we were a community, a real, true neighbourhood, a real Scouse neighbourhood. If anybody fell on hard times, anybody in the street, the people from the neighbourhood would rally around. They'd have a whip round, they'd go door to door, collecting money for the people who had a bit of hardship, and he'd give them that money and he'd expect nothing in return, ever. It was just done from the heart, from the people, to make sure one of their own was okay. I'll give you a personal example. When I was at school, my cousin Bernie, who's just a little bit older than me, he'd left school and he couldn't get a job. Try as he might, he couldn't get a job. So Bernie, like many back then in the late 70s, early 80s, had to rely on the dole. So in other words, I was at school, so I was skint, and Bernie had very little himself. But every week we'd go to the local Huntley and Palmer's social club, where they had a snooker table and a jukebox and a bandy, a slot machine. And that would be our weekly treat. We'd go there, but of course I had no money. So Bernie would take me on the limited money that he had. And every week he'd pay for me. He'd pay for me to play snooker. He'd put all the money in the jukebox. And he never expected anything back in return, ever. So he'd always put £2 in the slot machine. That was it, £2 maximum. And if he lost the £2, that was it. I just looked over his shoulder and the money was lost. But occasionally, you know, he'd put the £2 in and he'd win a tenner. And you know what he did? He'd split the winnings with me. I didn't offer anything. I didn't have anything. In his £2, he'd win a tenner and give me a fiver. That's the way it was in Liverpool. That's the way it is. That's the way the people are. It's what we do. So hopefully I've given you a little bit of insight as to the culture of the people and what we're all about. And the reason I did that is because this is exactly why there has been such a reaction to the Trent situation. If you don't care about something, you don't have an emotional attachment to it, you don't react to it, you don't care. But we do care. We care more passionately in the city of Liverpool than most people can ever begin to understand about us. And am I surprised that we're getting people like Simon Jordan and Andy Goldstein, Southerners, confused and misunderstanding what it's all about? No, I'm not, because they didn't grow up with this culture. They didn't grow up with our ethics, our neighbourly sense of trust and fairness. They just didn't. They don't understand what it's like to be Scouse and what it's like in here. That bond, that ethos, that attitude doesn't resonate with them because it's not part of their culture and never has been. So you can't understand something that you know nothing about. Trent let us down. Whether you wish him well and you've got no animosity to him at all, or whether you're on the other end of the scale He let us down. He betrayed our trust. The way he manufactured the move for personal gain is alien to us. It doesn't compute. We don't get it. In our neighbourhoods, people don't do that. And if anyone ever does, and by the way, it did happen when I was a kid, they forfeit the place in that community. They get ostracised. It's happened. I've seen it. Where a family does the dirty on someone or anyone and they're cut off. And this is why the reaction from the Liverpool fans has been so intense with such strength of feeling. I'll go back to something I mentioned earlier, that Scousers are the most warm, friendly people on the earth, until we're screwed over, as I mentioned, and then we're not. And that's how Trent is perceived by many, is that he screwed us over for leaving the way he left, for running his contract down the way he did, for keeping tight-lipped about it for a whole year when we all knew what he was up to. And one thing we are not good at is forgiving and forgetting. Now, it takes quite a bit to get us to that point. We'll forgive you for a lot of things, but once you've crossed the line, once that line has been crossed, there's no turning back. You're done. You've had it. And players like Owen and McManaman and Coutinho know what that's all about. They all lost their legacies as potential club legends by looking out for themselves, for betraying the trust of the Liverpool fans. They might otherwise be up there with the likes of Gerrard and Fowler and the likes of Phil Thompson and Jan Molby and loads and loads and loads of others, but they're not, because they put their self-interests before not just Liverpool Football Club, but the fans of Liverpool Football Club. That's what they did, and that's what Trent has done. So, while I said at the beginning, and I'll maintain it, I do not condone the fact that he was booed. I get why he was booed. And everyone has the right to feel how they want to feel. I wouldn't have done it. I know a load of Liverpool fans are not happy at all with the fact that it was done. But it was an outpouring of emotion from a very, very emotional people. And rightly or wrongly, Trent got the message. The booing was also an indication that his previously warm and close relationship with the Liverpool fans is over. His legacy is tarnished, and as far as the Liverpool fans are concerned, there's no coming back from it. I'm sad it ended this way. I'd have loved Trent to have extended his contract like other players have done. By the way, there's a list of them who actually signed on knowing they were leaving so the club would get money. Ronaldo did it. Bellingham did it. But Trent didn't. I wish he was leaving the right way. I wish he was going with the love and support of the fans, but he's not. And I'm sorry, Trent, for that. You've got to accept the consequences. You'll never walk alone. See you soon. Ta-ra.